Hello, everyone. I'm Troy Johnson from AALBC. AALBC is the largest, oldest, and most popular online bookstore dedicated to books written by or about people of African descent. Today, I'm talking with author D.E. Rogers, and we're going to discuss his work. We're going to discuss his best-selling book on our website. And most importantly, we're going to talk about his process for getting his book in the marketplace, and in particular, distribution. So DE, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey everyone out there, I'm D.E. Rogers. Published 12 books. I've been writing since a kid. I've always loved writing, and just, I love sharing what I write with people, because I try to give different perspectives of writing. I've written books from romance novels, family drama, social issues, stuff like that. The current book, Black States of America, it's been #1 on the AALBC site. That story is a sci-fi, fascinating story that the premise is based on Abraham Lincoln not being assassinated, and 40 Acres and a Mule, the Freedmen's Bank. Those things are now in Black control, and it's set in a modern day in a parallel universe where the universes are connected. And so the main character, Lincoln Douglas, as a child, as his family was going to our current America on a peace journey, the current America that we're in today, they decide they want to steal the technology, and so they try to assassinate his family. But in the chaos, as a child, Lincoln is left in current America, and he's being raised by a police officer who found him. And so until he's 25, he takes a DNA test. And after taking the DNA test, he discovers that there's no trace of him in our current world. And so he now realizes that he's part of a whole different universe, and his family comes to find him, and pretty much the story takes off from there, whereas the US is still trying to find out what's that wormhole to the other universe. So
yeah, it sounds like a fascinating story. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you today was the fact that you're firing on all cylinders, in the sense that I deal with independently published authors regularly. I mean, literally thousands of independently published authors over the years, and there some do it better than others, and you do what you're doing quite well. I actually discovered your work through an advertisement, so that's the first step. If you have a book and you want to put it in the marketplace, you have to market it, and advertising is a big component of that. And
yes, it is.
Yeah, so if we look at on the right-hand side, this was the type of ad you had. It was a book cover ad that appeared on the site. But one of the things that you did differently, not a lot of authors do this, but what you did was you linked to ALBC. So I sold your book on ALBC, and I was able to capture those sales, and that's what helped build it into a bestseller on the site. You may or may not have realized that. Was that a strategy of yours? Did you think that, or?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Oh, okay.
did.
All right.
Well,
All right, so,
I figure like this. If you're going to advertise on the site, and basically, I mean, your market is exactly what my book is trying to reach. And so why would I actually want people to go away from the site that they're gonna notice it at? You know what I mean? So, because I mean, you know how it is. People, when they click somewhere, they don't like to click other places. They like to get it right then and there. So I
yeah.
just felt like that was the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I may use that strategy as I help authors with promoting their work on our website. But again, we have your handsome picture, your biography, 5 of your 12 books, and again, we'll work to get the rest of them up there as well. But the States of Black America, as you mentioned, it is, it just came out in August, and it was a bestseller for the period of July and August on the website. And in fact, I'm going to take the video that we're shooting now that describes your book, and I'll add it to this page and also to your profile page. The other thing that you did, I mean, we'll go through much of it as well, but the price point, $15.99, is a good price. A lot of times I'll see books that have been self-published that, for 214-page paperback, they're pricing it at $24 or, something like that. That's a tough book to sell. So we have a professionally done cover. We have a compelling story, and the price point is good. You used BISAC codes to help me categorize this book on my website. So people who are looking for science fiction books, for example, if I click science fiction, this category, I have 68 books with that category on the site. They're sorted by pub date, so we can go down and see other books that have been categorized under science fiction. And that's helpful to people who visit the site. So if you're interested in science fiction, this would be a good category to go in. Again, a lot of independently published authors don't provide BISAC codes. When I see your book in Ingram's database, Ingram is my distributor. So the books that I sell, a lot of them come from Ingram. There are other distributors that I use. The second biggest one is Lucina Books out of Chicago. I use them to purchase books for resale. Your book in Ingram's database was really indistinguishable from a book published by a major house. The two things that I look for are, most importantly, the discount rate. And your discount was the same as any other book that I can get from any major publisher. And the book is returnable. So if you're an independently published author and your book is in distribution, it has to be you have to provide a discount that has enough margin in there for it to be worth reselling. If the discount rate is 20%, 10%, I've seen it 5%, and the book is non-returnable, a brick and mortar store, a book being not returnable is effectively a non-starter. So a physical bookstore is not going to buy a book, particularly from a relatively unknown self-published author, and not be able to return it.
Right.
How did you get your book distributed by Ingram? And then were you conscious, and did you deliberately make a conscious decision to provide the terms that I have access to?
Yeah, I'll start with that first. In regards to the terms, I mean, I like doing my research. I look at the marketplace, and I understand, as a self-published author, there's a lot of competition out there, and I've seen exactly what you've seen. People who charge over $20, sometimes even $30 for a book. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. And I say that's ridiculous even from a traditional publishing house, right? Because these days, you can get the ebook a lot cheaper, right? And so for me, and when I'm looking at the market, I say, you know what? I want my book to be affordable to the masses. But also I want to make sure that, booksellers are like, oh, this is a book we'll take a chance on. Because, like I said, it's returnable. The price is fair. It's a nice price point. And so to me, like anyone, when you do a book, you want to make money, right? But at the same time, I want people to read my book and enjoy my book and discover who I am, my talent. And so for that, I'm okay taking a lot lower in profit margin on that. That's fine for me. But I think you have to look at anything you do, the long run. It's about the marathon. It's not about the 100. And so for me, it's the marathon. I want people to embrace me, know me as a writer, grow with me as a writer, and then and down the line they be like, you know what, this guy is about the story and not about the profit, because a lot of people, they're just about the profit. And so, but back to even my research on looking at, different distributors. And so when I was doing my research, and I thought, you know what, you see a lot of, you see the KDP, Amazon, you see Create Space, even Book Pub, all these places, they offer, distribution options, right? But what Ingram offered was, to me, unmatched, because you can get to the retailers. You still get with the Amazons. You still get with Barnes and Noble. You get with the independent booksellers as well, bookstores. And so for me, it was such a great advantage on going with them, because they go global. And so it's the reach. And then, like I say, you offer the right price points, your reach even goes further. And so for a lot of people who go with like Amazon, I'm not trying to poke fun at Amazon, but Amazon, when you do the KDP and the Create Space, contract, it's an exclusive deal. And for that exclusive deal, you can't go no, and they own the ISBN. And so you can't then say, oh, I'm gonna take my book somewhere else, because they actually own it, because they're giving you everything to put their book on their site, but you can't take it nowhere because they own the ISBN. And that right there is the key. You and I both know that's the key to selling your book. And if you're in an exclusive deal, that means that you're only gonna sell it on Amazon. And so for that 90 days of a new book, by the end of 90 days, you're not a new book no more. And
you mind if I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what you're describing is I can't emphasize how important that is. Now, Amazon offers an option where you don't have to sell through them exclusively. And as I alluded to earlier, and I'll state specifically, typically books that I've seen published by Amazon, they have the worst terms and distribution. Again, so bad that I can't sell them. Now, again, I'll put them on the site, but I have to make them unavailable for sale, because I would lose money selling them in many cases. So if you take advantage of the non-exclusive relationship with Amazon, are there any other benefits or downsides that you see?
No, I mean, I just think, and I'm not gonna speak to the, with the downside, but I'll speak to the advantages of Ingram. I was able to set my price. I was able to set the discount. I'm able to set all the terms. I'm able to set, if I want to sell it, in Africa, I can, I have all, if I don't want to sell it somewhere, right? You have all those advantages with Ingram. I just think, like I said, it's nothing against Amazon. I just think that it's limited.
Okay.
And also, hold on, let me finish real quick. It's not just limited, but it's also back to what you said about, African-American authors, right? It's hard to find you. It's hard to find you on Amazon. And that's why when you and I were going back and forth, I said, no, I want to direct it to your site, because guess what? It's my book is, I want everyone to read my book, but at the end of the day, my book is an African-American themed book. And so I need my book to reach basically my people. And for my book to reach my people, it needs to be on your site and being sold on your site. Because like I say, when people come to your site, I don't want them to leave. I don't want them to leave. And that's just not for me, but I would hope that when they come come to your site looking for my book, that they find other books as well, because we don't have a big presence on Amazon. So
Yeah, discoverability is a humongous issue, and again that goes back to marketing.
yeah,
Clearly, you've done the research in terms of pricing. I mean, you've published 12 books, so clearly you know what you're doing. But let's be clear. You when you say you published through Ingram, you used Ingram Spark. That was the
right. Distribution. Yeah.
okay. So when when I sell your book, um, is it POD or actually I know it's not. If it is POD, when I go to Ingram system, I see how many units are in each warehouse. So
Right.
their physical copies are already out. But are you doing print on demand with your book
Yep.
or?
Yep. Print on demand.
And what about, have you done an ebook version of your book?
Yep. Yep. There's an ebook out there as well.
Okay, so I actually need to get that on the site, you know. And what about an audiobook? Any plans for that?
You know what, I've started playing around with audio books on another series,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna slowly get there.
Okay.
But that's a lot, because sometimes I'm trying to do. I'm gonna be the person reading, and that's a lot. That's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people don't appreciate how difficult it is to actually create a high quality audio book.
Oh, that's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, good writers sometimes aren't good readers. So
What are some of the other positives, or what are some of your experiences with other not distribution, but other sales channels for your book? Are there, now I know you're in Oakland.
yep.
Oakland is home to one of the, if not the oldest, certainly one of the oldest Black-owned bookstores in the country, Marcus.
Yeah.
Shade by the Bay, sisters, they're selling children's books. And you're near us, you're just down the road from Sacramento, and Sacramento has underground books. Once we get out of this virtual world, check out the Sacramento Black Book Festival. It's an incredible event. They do it up, 2 days, and
Okay.
underground books is like one of the focal points for that festival. Definitely worth checking
Perfect.
out. Going back to sales channels, what other sales channels do you use for your book?
I've spent more money probably on marketing than a lot of other people. So I've actually been able to. Because I'll do the Facebook, the Twitter. I've done all those things. But I will say what I like about AALBC is the fact of I like the direct point to I'm taking my customers directly to where they know the book it's a Black book, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. So they know exactly where it's going, right? So see, sometimes when you're advertising out there and people don't, granted, Black states of America is different, right? Because pretty much it's Black states, so you kind of know, the subject matter is Black. But like an example of one of my books, The Dark Side of Money. You don't know if that's a white book, Black book, Asian book, or whatever it may be. And so that you have to kind of like do a little bit different kind of twist on your marketing, right? And so for me, I like directing it to my actual audience, because you get some people who, oh no, oh, that book wasn't meant for me, right? And I want everyone to read my books, but at the same time, I do know that if I'm directing it to your site, it's going to be, I'd say more appreciated because it's more to your people. And so one thing I do want to say back to discoverability, right? It's like, this is my mindset, okay? You really can't reach the world until your community knows who you are first. And so just like you just said about, people say, oh, who is this D.E. Rogers, right? And so you put yourself out in the masses. Yeah, I'm not saying it can't work, but at the same time, as a writer, you want you want your community to know you and embrace you. So when they go to your site and be like, oh, D. Rogers, now they can say like, oh, he's written all these books, right? But if I'm out there on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, they'll look and be like, oh, okay, whoever, right? But when you're on your site and with the profile, they're gonna be like, oh, because to me, it's like everything is right there. Here's the book, here's the name, you click that, you go to my picture, you go to my bio, you go to the other books. That to me is a centralized, you have a centralized operation that helps authors get discovered and get known, and you get a following from that. And I think that's the hidden gem of your site.
Okay, Dee, what are you working on now? What project do you have? Is it something in the film world? Is it something in literary space? What's up? What's coming up next?
Actually, I have a book already done. It's called Limitation of Life. I'm working on the sequel to Black States of America. I'm also working on a TV series called Music and Mayhem. And hopefully the TV series will be next year, early. But those are the things I'm working on currently. So
Are you
wish me luck.
Hey, good luck. Are you a full-time writer? Is
Yeah.
this, wow.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations for that, man. That's something many people aspire to.
You know,
Oh,
it wasn't easy.
uh-huh.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
No, I appreciate that. That's good. I also appreciate your time. The world's become a world of Zoom, but what it also has done is made it, introduce these possibilities. I probably wouldn't have considered doing something like this prior to the pandemic. But again, what you've done with just getting your work out there, making it easy for booksellers to sell, utilizing AOBC in ways that I hadn't even considered. I'm sure you're destined for success. And again, I appreciate your time.
Well, thanks, man. No, you've done an amazing job, man. Just to be, in the business since 1997 to now, that's amazing. And that's an incredible feat within itself. And I wish you nothing but success in the future as well.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.